Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
It was named after Vince Lombardi. You play in Green Bay. As important as it is to any other team, it means more to us.
When he walked into the meeting, he looked us right in the eye. He said, "Gentlemen, we're going to relentlessly chase perfection."
My first thought was, on any play with my arm strength, I may not let anybody know this, but my first thought was home run.
On every play.
On every play.
He did what? Fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
And welcome back to the Packers Corner, live before the Packers playoff game we got coming up here. Dad, you got your cheese curds? You ready to go?
But here we're so lucky to be able to be eating cheese curds on a playoff Sunday in the middle of January. Man, oh man, thinking about from where we were a year ago, even watching that opening Jets game and watching Aaron go down and all the things that have transpired, to be here with an opportunity to cheer for the green and gold is pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty exciting here. So I just want to double check with our viewers as we're getting started off here that audio and video are working here. Oh, and Derek gives us the go-ahead. We're in the clear. It's working. So I think they might have missed part of your message about the cheese curds. But we'll dive into a couple things game-related. Dad, where do you want to start on this one? I think one of the keys that I have in mind is talking about that pass rush for the Cowboys and what we're going to do about them. You want to dive into that, or where do you want to start off here?
Well, I would start maybe a little higher, up 33,000 feet or so. The grand view of the whole gestalt, if you will, here. You know, Packer fans are so sophisticated that we can use big terminology like gestalt and 30,000 foot view and all that kind of stuff. We are purportedly playing this behemoth, can't be beaten Cowboys team, you know, division champs, 12-5. And here we are, a pittance of a wild card team, squeaking in 9-8. I would just remind people that we are not the team that lost 5 games by a total of 11 points. We got Jordan Love in the last 8 games with 18-1 touchdowns, a passer rating touching 115, completing almost 70% of his passes. They want to brag about Dak Prescott. I get it. Completing He's had a nice year too. But there's nobody that's put up stats in the last half of the season like Jordan Love. Now, do we regress? Do we look like rookies again at the beginning of the year, that we're dropping the ball and jumping off sides? I don't think so. I think in the last 8 games, we've played one bad half of offensive football, and that was against the New York Giants. Other than that, we have been a consistently efficient offensive unit. And so a lot of hope. I get it. Vegas has the Cowboys 7-point favorites, and probably deservedly so. But listen, the Cowboys are not 12-5.
Oh, I got to interrupt you here briefly. We got breaking news. Christian Watson and Jair Alexander both officially active. So that is a heck of a boon for us as we break down this show. Didn't mean to cut you off, but I thought we better let the folks know.
Absolutely. Get the ticker going. Breaking news. We got it right here on your Packer Network. That's huge, and it very much dovetails with the point I'm making. You'd have to look back. I'm not so sure we've had our full complement of offensive weapons, meaning Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Dobbs, Musgrave, active in what? Maybe a couple games all year long? And here we are. So I'm just making the point that this isn't a 9-8, barely snuck in wild card team playing some juggernaut. And, you know, those 5 games that we lost by a total of 11 points, this team that has played in the second half of the season would have won 3 to 5 of those games. So, we get off to the right start. Everything goes our way. We possess the ball. There's a path here. There's a pathway for a victory.
Well, and what do you see as being the keys to that pathway? I have a couple of talking points on that front that I'm suspicious you might be in agreement with, but I want to hear if you had to break it down 2 or 3 focus areas, what do you have for us that way?
Well, I think it starts with winning the coin toss and taking the ball and possessing the ball and going down the field on a methodical drive, which this is not an out-of-body thing for our team. We've done it multiple times in the last 2 months in ball games. We did it against Detroit on the road. We did it against Kansas City. Kansas City hardly got 7 possessions. It was 7 or 8 possessions. So you want to talk about the key to slowing down Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. It's not giving them the ball. And then, of course, along with that, it's scoring touchdowns and not leaving it to our kicker, because I think if we're vulnerable somewhere, it is our kicker. And maybe he has a great game. He's missed a kick in every one of the last 4 games. I was really hoping maybe we'd bring Mason Crosby in, but Coach LaFleur didn't see it that way. And you kind of have to defer to Coach LaFleur. He's made some decisions we kind of scratched our head about, but every doggone one of them has worked out in the last couple months of the season. So there's a couple stars. Jair being able to play Dak and not seeing what I like to call the Joe Barry worrywart defense, where we play our safeties 30 yards deep and our cornerbacks 12 yards off and let Dak carve us up in the 10 to 20-yard area, which is kind of what he's famous for. But I don't think we've been seeing the real Joe Barry defense. I think we've been seeing the Matt LaFleur telling Joe Barry what to do defense. And so those would be some of the keys. Tell me what you're thinking. I'd be anxious to hear what's in your mind.
Yeah, well, I'll lay that out for you here. I just want to comment on a few of the things you noted there. Whatever setup they have to communicate between Joe Barry and Matt LaFleur and translate and reorchestrate and do the George Costanza zigzag if we've been talking about, where they kind of do the opposite of the instincts of Joe Barry perhaps, it's working. So I don't care how the message is getting delivered. I've liked what we've seen in recent weeks, especially the performance we had against Justin Fields. Now, with Justin, we really had to keep him in the pocket and make him beat us with his arm. And Dak's been beating people with his arm with no problem this year, so it's a little bit more complicated. I think CeeDee Lamb is a huge focal point, obviously, for both teams. And the Cowboys' ability to impose their will by getting him the football versus our ability to stop them from doing that, I think is going to go a long way in determining the game. I don't think we need to totally eliminate his touches. That's a bit of an unrealistic goal. But taking away a few big plays, shut him down in the red zone, I think it's that simple. That's where big points and big swings in the game can come from. The other big name on the Cowboys side that pops out to me is Micah Parsons. Matt LaFleur was awfully laudatory in his praise for Micah Parsons this week, and rightfully so. That guy is a problem. But at the same time, we've had kind of an underrated offensive line this year. I wouldn't say that's my area of expertise. I tend to focus a little bit more on the guys out on the perimeter. But the way they've been able to keep Jordan Love clean this year has been highly impressive. And then the other part of that is Jordan Love's ability to keep himself out of trouble, right? He gets the ball out quickly, he moves well in the pocket, and he's just been a guy that hasn't taken a lot of sacks. Where the Cowboys have struggled is after you get past that first level of the defense, whether it be on the ground or through the air, their secondary is really poor at tackling, like near the very bottom of the NFL in yards allowed after the catch per catch. And so I think you get Jaden Reed, you get Dontavian Wicks in the middle of the field and let them run after the catch. I'm excited to see that. And then the other guy, of course, Aaron Jones. He's been awesome. He's put the team on his back in recent weeks here. And I think it takes him getting by that first level, and he might take it the whole way. He is kind of a home run hitter, and he's also been highly efficient at not having negative yardage plays, at not failing to get the keep his head of the chains. He's really efficient that way, but he's also a guy that can take it to the house. So we'll see if any of those plays can happen for us, but those are some of the main things that I certainly think about here. Anything to add to that? And Dad, I might queue up our third guest that's not here with us today, but typically is Schmitty, and get him on the phone line here for a moment. But what do you have to say about what I was diving into there?
Yeah, we're down a man here without Schmitty. I'm pretty sure his wife Melissa has him teetotaling around the house, putting away all the appliances and the sharp objects just in case, in the odd event that things don't go well today. We know that Schmitty is a good yo-yo host himself. He's really high and really low, and he's been all over the board, and we love him because he brings a lot of energy to our team here. But I would make a couple of points to perhaps enhance what you're saying there. You talked about the middle of the field, talked about Aaron Jones. I think he's huge. You know, the last time we played the Cowboys in Mike McCarthy's homecoming back at Lambeau Field, we were down a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I think it was the first time the Cowboys had lost a game in either a long, long time or maybe the history of their franchise, being ahead 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Aaron Jones happened to run for almost 140 yards in that game, according to Larry McCarron on the Packer podcast that I was listening to as I was getting cheese curds in Ellsworth. What better thing to do on game day, huh? And they rushed for 207 yards in that game, and then, of course, the big comeback at Lambeau Field there to win that one 31-28. Also, we have never lost down in Texas. I would also point out that the Cowboys' record against playoff teams this year is 3-4, and that's only if you give them the botched referees win over Detroit, which really wasn't. So in reality, they're 2-5. What's our record against playoff teams? 3-2. And so, you know, you said it, I think, before in a podcast on Wednesday. We are nobody's underdog in this game. We'll just Coach McCarthy. We love you. We love you. Got your boulevard there in Green Bay. I think he was a little unceremoniously let go in Green Bay, and I do feel for him for that reason. And I have, I think we all appreciate Coach McCarthy, but not today. Not today.
Not today.
So, no, every other day, and we'll have him back to get inducted into the Packer Hall of Fame. But we won't belabor that today. But anyway, those are some of my thoughts just rolling in. That I mean, it could go wrong. The Cowboys could get the ball and get off to a lead, and then Micah Parsons tees off. But there is a clear path here to us staying in this game and making it a game late, and then. I think Schmitty said this maybe during the week. Which coach makes the bad time management decision? And
I've seen a lot of that from both these guys.
Probably has a leg up in that department.
Yeah. Well, let's give Schmitty a call here. I'm sure he'll have a little energy to bring in for us here, as he always does. I want a little help
for him.
Yeah, I want to get a little help from you and everyone who's on the stream at the moment. On the audio, there's kind of a few moving parts here, so if it's not cooperating, let me know. I'll keep on the alert there. But Dad, you let me know if you
loud and clear.
Well, no, if you hear Schmitty when I call him here.
Oh,
so.
Got it.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah, we got a little audible at the line of scrimmage here. We can play under pressure, and we know what to do, and we don't get clean looks, just like Jordan Love.
3,
cool...
4, 2, 5, 7, 3 is not available.
Oh, I think Schmitty's not available. Derek said he was, so we're gonna go to the backup, which is Derek, and I told Parker I'd give him a ring too. So we're shouting out, getting the feelers from Packer Nation here. A couple fans across the state. Let's give Derek a call. He said he's ready and active.
Yeah, Derek is a true Packer mind. He's laid a lot of deep thoughts on us with regard to Packer Nation. Where's Derek residing right now? At home, or is he ice fishing somewhere?
Hello?
Derek,
Hello?
We got you live on the Packers Corner here. Can you hear me?
Great, yeah, I can hear you well.
Uh-oh.
Awesome. Well, I got
on my end.
Oh, really? Yeah, not too bad over here. I don't know if it'll let him hear you, Dad. So we'll have to see if that works. But Derek, my dad wants to know where you're at here.
I'm on the road right now, driving back to my house to get the pregame a little more pumped up. I pumped up a little bit this morning, but played a little 18-hole golf round at Bay Hill with a couple other Packer buddies. But heading home now. I think you attempted to call Mr. Schmitzky. He had some flight issues and had to rearrange his flight pattern, and I think he landed just a couple minutes ago, so that's why you might not have been able to get a hold of him.
We'll give it a shot, see if we can get his takes on the game. But let's get yours right now, Derek. First of all, well, two questions for you. One, do you have the jalapeno grapefruit ready to go? That's a big tradition of Derek's. And two, how are you feeling about things just in general?
Yeah, first question's an easy one. It's fired up in the freezer right now, and now I'll have the glasses ready. Those will be reserved for important touchdowns that, momentum swinging touchdowns, which is all of them. And fired up for all that are up for it. And then second question, I think the key was mentioned in the chat momentarily was we can't really fall behind. We got to have a solid start to the game. No crazy turnovers, no easy 50-yard touchdowns allowed. Let's just keep it close or grab a small lead in the first half and let the second half give us what it will. And hopefully we can get the W.
Heck yeah. I'm excited to watch. We're going to get over at your place and chop it down over there. Dad, any questions for Derek while we got him on the line? I might have to repeat it.
Is his audio coming through okay? It's all garbled, but...
Yeah, it's working for me.
Okay, good deal. Well, I just wonder what Derek thinks about which rookie is going to make a difference. I mean, there's so many to pick from. We got guys in the defensive line. We got all kind of rookie receivers. We got a rookie kicker. Which guy's going to impact this game in a positive or negative way to make it all happen for us?
Derek, could you hear that at all, or should I relay the message?
Yeah. Summarize and relay. I can't hear on my end.
Yeah, I think I got to work on that for our next live session here. Hopefully before the 49ers game next week. That's what I'm hoping for.
Exactly.
He wants to know, we got a lot of young guys in the mix, a lot of rookies and so forth. Guys that could really come out and make a name for themselves with a big performance, but also, with the young guys, there's tendency to have some mishaps like we saw early in the year, right, for the Packers. So out of those young guys and the young core nucleus there, who do you see stepping up and making the big plays at the right time for us today?
Yeah, so I think the guys that have been making a lot of the big plays lately are Jason Reed and Bo Melton and Dontavian Wicks. Tucker Kraft had some good time there. It sounds like we're pretty healthy. Christian is in and Jair's in. Is Romeo good to go?
Romeo's good to go.
All right, cool. I'm going to go with Dontavian Wicks to stay on the hot train. He's running some really solid routes, getting open, making great catches. And maybe Musgrave makes a big play now that he's back. They're not expecting him, not a lot of film. Maybe he gets behind the defense once today.
I like it. Let him use that elite speed he's got for a tight end. And just impressed with him and the young guy that he has come back from. The injury that he had is pretty impressive. So we're excited to see him out there. Derek, I'm going to give a call over here to Parker, and I think probably the youngest listener for us on the Packers Corner, unless Nick's got his kids listening. But Lucy, Parker's new daughter, going to be on the line too. So I'll be sure to say hi to them from you. Anything else for us while we got you on, Derek?
No, just hopefully everyone's tuned in, pumping it up, and go Pack go.
Going to be a fun one. Looking forward to seeing you in a little bit here, Derek. Take care.
Yep, see you later.
Awesome. So we'll put Parker up next in the queue. Fun to get these thoughts from around the state. Derek, a Minnesota resident now, so I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous watching the game in enemy territory there, but I guess we'll have to do the best we can. Do they have cheese curds even in Minnesota? Is that a thing?
Oh, they may think they have them, but
that's what they call those?
Deal. That's kind of a watered down version, It's it's like trying to get lefse in South America. You're not going to have the real deal down there. So, I just have to tell the audience about Derek. When Derek was a 9-year-old baseball player playing coach's pitch with the 5-run rule, and all the parents are in the stands and the bases are loaded, and Derek cracks one into the gap, and Derek was a heck of a ball player, but not real fleet of foot. If you remember, in those days, he sometimes had a little trouble on the base paths, but so he smashed one out there, and he rounds first base, and the base is clear, and as he's rounding second base, he almost stops, and he just starts walking to third, and they throw the ball in and tag him out, and all the parents are like, "Run, Derek, run! What's the problem?" And Derek looks up at the parents and goes, 5-run rule. The 5th run just crossed the plate. No reason for me to run anymore.
Not going to exert any more effort than we have
Derek, analyzing the Packers, and you're probably in pretty good shape.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, he's always been highly intuitive on an athletic field that way. That kind of sums up what his childhood athletic career pretty well there. He was always a step ahead. Let's give Park a call, a ring here, see if this one cooperates with us. Now, Parker is located much more in the heart of traditional Packer territory, more on the east side of the state here, so we'll see what the perspective is over there.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all fired up over there. They probably might have had a canooper or two over there by now. You never know with their cheese curds. Could have been a spotted cow.
Park, we got you on here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Nice to hear your voice, Park. How you been? And how's Lucy there? Is she enjoying the show?
Lucy enjoyed the show for the first 5 minutes, and then she had a big old fart and I think a poop, and then I think it's time for nap time for the little girl.
Hey, get her up and ready to go for the fourth quarter when we need her the most.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. She's just getting ready for that game-winning drive for Jordan Love.
I'd like to see it. Hope maybe it'll be comfortable by then. That would be my first wish. But if we can't get that,
could be.
What are your thoughts? How do you see it playing out here? It sounded like in the chat you were on board with our assessment that if we win the coin toss, we're sure as heck going to take the ball.
Yeah, that's my thought. Usually I'm a fan of deferring and getting the ball in the second half, but I think the key to this game, in my opinion, is going to be to make the Cowboys play from behind. I think if we get a shootout that's led by the Cowboys, I think we're in rough shape. It's certainly going to be a big game for Joe Barry. I think I don't really like the guy still, but I think if he has a good game plan and we make a run in the playoffs and our defense plays well, I think he might save his job.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility too. I know that might be much to my dad's chagrin here. I think if we can go out and get it done, like I said earlier on the stream here, I don't care how the message gets relayed. They got something that's been effective as of late, and if that continues, Mark, I'm with you. He might very well just be back there. So
yeah, not to say I want him there. It's just yeah.
Yeah, my dad's covering his face in dismay over here. Dad, you got a question for Parker I can relay to him here?
That's like saying that you'd like to have Jean Van de Velde manage your major championship decision-making strategically when you're trying to win the British Open. And just because he screwed it up one time, you're going to let him do it again instead of letting Jack Nicklaus make the decision. So I'm all for Matt LaFleur having plenty of input, but I think Matt would be better served to get a defensive coordinator that can do it on his own without having to have the head coach hold his hand and tell him how to play defense. The only time I want to see the Joe LaFleur worrywart defense is if we have a 25-point lead in the fourth quarter, and then he can put those safeties back in Escanaba and play the cornerbacks 12 yards deep and not let anybody beat us over the top.
Do you have a question for Park here, Dad?
Oh, Parker's right on the money with everything. I think he's good to go. I can't
hear him to relay, Chris, just so you know.
I will, Park.
What's the strategy for keeping Lucy quiet when she's, keeping the noise down so Lucy can get that nap in and be ready for the fourth quarter?
That's a good question. So he wants to know what's your strategy to keep your cheering and celebrating to a dull roar as you're watching the Packers and hopefully celebrating a couple touchdowns because you don't want to be disrupting any sleep for Lucy there.
I swear that girl sleeps like I've multiple times I've had to get her from daycare in the morning at 6:40, and I'm standing over her, basically yelling at her, saying, it's time for daycare, and she sleeps right through it. So I'm not too concerned. Plus, Kelsey's here to make sure to keep my screams at a minimum.
Fair enough. Well, like we said, I hope she's back and ready to go and well rested for the fourth quarter. That would be exciting for her to see her first playoff Packer victory. That'd be a heck of a day.
That would. I know she was getting excited for the pregame, and let's hope she's well rested for the fourth quarter.
I like it, Park. Great hearing from you. Thanks for holding things down on the east side of the state there, and go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go.
Take care. Awesome. So we'll check in with a few other folks in a little bit here. I'm seeing Ben Johnson in the chat, noted Viking fan, of course, says, Jair is active. That means C.D. Lamb is going for 200 yards.
Well, that's kind of sour grapes. We love Ben. Great guy that he is. Left-handed baseball player himself. Remember Ben back in the day minding the hot corner at first base over there. So we love Ben, but when you're infected by that purple rain over there on the east side of the border of the St. Croix River, it taints your vision of things. And so I think what we got to look for here is, we haven't talked about this, but we got Christian Watson and Luke Musgrave, two speed burners. If you get that running game going and you get Aaron Jones carving them up, which I think is going to be a strategy. The Cowboys have a smaller defensive line. They're really made to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. We have a history of being able to run the ball. If we can get balance and get some push in the running game, you're going to see a deep shot. And I predicted this on the Wednesday podcast, and you're going to see one over the top to Christian Watson or Luke Musgrave, or maybe we'll cross them up and throw one up there to Tay Wicks, who is beginning to draw many favorable comparisons with our former Tay, Devontae. That's probably some pretty big shoes to fill, but man, he is looking the part. And that doesn't, who knows, maybe it'll be Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed might be our guy. Good Lord, he's been kind of our default number one receiver with all the other guys being gone. What a find he's been in the draft. Just incredible. So you're going to look for one of those deep shots if we can get the running game going, because we're going to get that coverage, that shell back off of us, and then we'll be able to carve them up underneath. So a lot of exciting prospects to look for in the game if we can, not get behind in the game and let them pin their ears back the way they want to.
Yeah, two things for you here, Dad. One is, I think we need to make more of a concerted effort to absolutely feed Jaden Reed the ball. He had an awesome game last week. I'm trying to look up how many targets he had. He finished with, oh no, that's the first Bears game. He had 5 targets. I know he had 4 catches, but I want to see a 10-12 target game from that guy. I have been so impressed with what we've seen from him, and I think he's earned the right not to de facto be the number one wide receiver, but to actually just be the number one wide receiver. He's been highly impressive as far as I'm concerned. The other thing I want to talk about here is we know we kind of outlined what we think probably the best case scenario is for the Packers to start quick, get the ball, go score. But as we know, it's not always a smooth path out there on the gridiron. What do you think the path to victory could look like in the absence of that? Maybe the Cowboys get the ball first. Maybe if an early drive gets stymied for us. This has been a resilient team, and they've been able to battle back. But you're right. In a lot of those big games, when we beat the Lions, when we beat the Chiefs, we were front runners. Do you see a path to victory for us if that's maybe not the case today?
Well, then the path has to be one of these rookies that nobody's heard of in the national limelight there, like a Carl Brooks or a Colby Wooden or a Lucas Van Ness. And we haven't, they like to brag about Dak Prescott and C.D. Lamb and and Micah Parsons. Well, we got a guy named Rashawn Gary that's pretty darn good at his position. I'm not saying he's Micah Parsons, but pretty doggone good. We got a guy named Jordan Love. And the deal with us is, which wide receiver do you want to shut down? Doesn't really matter to us. If you want to, you shut down the whole starting bunch. We'll bring in Bo Melton off the bench and Malik Heath, an undrafted free agent, and away we go. And we're getting Christian Watson back. So it's going to involve a tip ball, a sack, a strip sack fumble, some kind of a turnover. Maybe you get a scoop and score off of a strip sack. And this just kind of harkens me back, way back to the spring, when Dan Orlovsky was prescient in some of his perceptions, where he was talking about the Packers being viable contestants for the North Division, which, in the final analysis didn't look like we were. But as I say, if the team that's playing right now, in the last 8 games, with Jordan Love the way he is, 1 turnover, that team that lost 5 games by a total of 11 points, and the Lions had 11 wins. We're right there with the Lions. But then Orlovsky was saying not only would we potentially be a playoff team and be a factor in the North, but a potential NFC contender.
Well, I think the way he phrased it was, if we get average quarterback play from Jordan Love, we're going to compete for the playoffs. If they get above average play, they're contestants for the whole thing. And it's hard to call what Jordan Love's done anything other than certainly above average. But Dak Prescott's been awfully good this year too. I think both of those guys, Dad, certainly down the stretch for Jordan, and really all season for Dak, have done a heck of a job protecting the ball. They haven't had a lot of turnovers. I think it'd be interesting to see if that stays true for both quarterbacks, if they just have a shootout and go back and forth and trade punches, or if one of those guys flips up and makes a crucial turnover.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other factor here that I've kind of felt coming on during this late season push is just a tremendous, not just intangible, but a leadership role beyond what he's doing on the field by Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones has kind of put this team on his back. He's the first running back in Green Bay to rush for over 100 yards 3 games in a row since something called Amon Green, a quarter of a century ago almost. And Aaron Jones has a history of big performances in that stadium. It's his homecoming. He played at UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso. And, this kid, you got to love him. He's just a quality human being, let alone a football player. Talk about quality human beings. We might lead the league in those in Green Bay. Did you hear what Jordan Love did before he got on the plane to head to Arlington, Texas? There was some damsel in distress stuck in the snowbank, a college student there from De Pere. It's all over X. You should have picked this up on your feed from X. But he helped her get her car out of the snowbank when he's trying to get on the plane to go to a playoff game. She had all kind of selfies that she took with him. And between Jordan Love and Aaron Jones and the leadership there, and I'm telling you, that calm, cool. When I grow up, I want to be more like Jordan Love. I'm telling you right now, I admire his demeanor and his personality and his lack of getting frustrated. And I just think that could bode very well for us. Now we're a young team. Do we regress? Is the playoff atmosphere too much? I really don't think so, based on what I've seen consistently over a long period of time. And the other X factor is, how does Matt LaFleur scheme up our offense? He is so good, as Dan Orlovsky pointed out, with the motions and the bunch formations and running off coverage and cutting underneath the coverage, that goes very much toward the point you were making, Griff, about Dallas's secondary being vulnerable to rack and schemed up plays where we can get our receivers running open in the secondary there. So if we see some of that stuff, watch out. Hold on to your horses. Get your cheese curds ready. Get your spotted cow. Here we go. Let's make it happen.
And it was four targets for 4 receptions for 112 yards a week ago for Jaden Reed. Are you with me that that's just not enough? I mean, we got a lot of weapons, and we're fortunate that way, but I think he needs to be fed the ball.
I have no problem with that, but the thing of it is, it doesn't really matter, because is it Tay Wicks? Is it Malik Heath? Who's going to, excuse me, cheese curds coming back up here. Is it Malik Heath who's going to surprise you?
Well, Malik Heath is inactive, actually, so I just saw that.
Well,
probably because of Watson being out.
I think we can take that trade off. By the way, where did Watson emerge in that Cowboy game last year when he had 3 touchdowns and lit the place up and revitalized our dormant offense, even with number 12 running it, talking about how he completely changed the outlook. So the speed we're going to put on the field, you got to be exciting. And you know what? We can't lose. We're playing with house money, like so many people have said, and it's true. So just go out there and play ball and have a big time and play free and loose and follow your leaders. It should be an exciting day.
Well, our yo-yo of a third guest on the show here, for those unfamiliar, Schmitty has landed apparently. I'm going to give him a ring here and see if we can get his thoughts, and I'll kind of pass.
Starship Schmitty has landed.
And I'll kind of pass along your thoughts and questions for him and relay that, Dad, because he won't be able to hear you.
Griffey.
Schmitty, my friend, how are you doing today?
I'm very well. I'm ready. I've primed up both nipples. I don't know which one. We're gonna let Packers Corner choose.
Oh boy, that'll be a sight to behold. Are we gonna get it done? Is that gonna be the outcome today?
Griffey, you, me, everyone else. Why is it that we have it's just a unified front? We all feel that we're gonna win this game because I genuinely think that we can. We have a chance. There's no question about it. We are within one score of this club every game that we play against them. I have no question about it. I'm ready to go to war.
Schmitty, I'm sure you've done some reading on this game, and all the stuff I'm coming across from pundits and the national media is taking this game almost as a foregone conclusion. It really odd for a playoff game. Talking about it's been 28 years since the Cowboys have been in the conference championship, which is where they hope to get back to, and this and that, and really just sort of anointing them as the main competitors for the San Francisco 49ers here. I mean, the guys don't need any extra motivation, but have you seen the same thing in the media here? It seems like we're being written off.
Which is absolutely shocking. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised when we're going up against the Dallas Cowboys. They are the frogmen. They are the lizard people. Everyone, the jig is in. They think that they are one with the Illuminati. I don't know what to tell you, Griffey. All I know is that the fans, the folks of the Green Bay Packers, salt of the earth people, care genuinely about the ball club and their success. And I'm just happy for all the little people today, because I know with certainty the little people are going to get theirs today. It's all coming up packed today. And I'm not questioning that one iota. It's us. It's the Green Bay Packers. It's the most storied franchise in the NFL. It's us. There's no question about it. I really believe that Jordan Love can give us another 303 touchdown performance. He has it in him. And for some reason, we've been hating him all year. Griff is Mr. Joe Barry. I think he schemed something up very delicious for all the folks to enjoy. Some pressures that we haven't seen before. Give me a Jair off the corner for a safety, Griffey. That's what I'm going to take.
There we go.
If I'm going to the tickets, I'm placing a ticket for Jair to score a safety. So
I like it. I like that take. Will it into existence there, Schmitty. I'm gonna let my dad ask you a question here, Schmitty. I'll have to relay it because I don't think he'll come through here for you. But Dad, what do you have for Schmitty at the moment?
Well, I know Schmitty has made a promise to our listeners to have various portions of his body pierced in the likely event that the Packers should prevail in this Goliath contest here. But just in case on the other side, I'm wondering if Melissa has secured all the appliances and got the sharp objects put away, those that would not be applicable for the piercing ceremony, just to make sure everything's okay over there. And then I know he's probably going to take some anesthetic for that piercing. He's going to have 3 or 4 fingers of some libation there that's been aged on oak barrels, and so I just wish he'd talk about that a little bit so we can kind of visualize what's going on over at the Schmitty residence.
Yeah, there's a lot to visualize there. We'll see what he lays on us here. Schmitty, my dad is asking you that you have this game plan to have this piercing if the Packers should prevail. In addition to that, he wants to know, has Melissa locked up all the sharp household objects, maybe not the ones necessary for any piercings, but all the other ones that could provide bodily harm? Does she have the toasters in the cupboards with the hatches battened? And are there precautions in the event that things don't go our way taken by Melissa so far?
Griffey, all appliances, small and large, are safely put away. My wife, God bless her, she is actually driving me. Right now, I am en route to Derek's house, so that hopefully, Derek has taken precautions. We're all good. There's nothing that's going to harm me at my apartment if I were to get home. Now we're putting this in the hands of Derek. So hopefully some of our listeners are over there right now, and they are, putting bubble wrap on corners. Appliances are being thrown in the garage, hidden far away from me. That's all on them. So my health, my well-being is in the hands of about 10 or 12 people right now. And if they care anything about me, they'll make sure they'll ensure my safety.
Well, I'm glad to hear you got a lot of folks looking out for you. We'll have your back here today for sure. Schmidt, I like the Jair bold pick, coming off the edge. We got another, not necessarily a surprise, but a late acknowledgement that he's active in Christian Watson. You think he could? You've been awfully critical of Christian Watson at times. Are you happy to have him out there? You remember what he did to the Cowboys a year ago?
Now, I am not the biggest fan of number 9. That is very well documented. However, he is still a second-round draft pick. He still has had phenomenal football games. It's just a matter of health. And if he's active, he's able to go, which is the case today. He must have impressed upon enough people in the staff that he is capable of putting his best foot forward today. Otherwise, we wouldn't play him, and we wouldn't have to, because I'm confident in the rest of the wide receiver room. Just getting him back, getting him in the fold, I think is plenty. Am I expecting him to see 70% of the offensive snaps? By no means. But if he can give us some juice, if he can take the top off of this Cowboys defense, then it's a job well done. Griffey, give me 4 catches for Christian Watson today, and I think that's more than maybe most would think. But I think he contributes definitely. But I'm much more engaged in with Dylan being out. How many touches are we going to get?
Are you happy
Aaron
or
Jones?
sad about that?
You know what? I love. Remember the Lightning and Thunder? I love Lightning and Thunder. So the fact that we're just have Lightning out there, I'm okay with that, because I know he is our best player on the offense. And so if you're going to give him the ball 23 times today, so be it, and I'll have a smile on my face, regardless if we win or lose. That's one check mark, and that's maybe the biggest one today. If the Packers give him the ball enough times, I think they give themselves the best chance to win. Whether we do it or not, none of us are sure. However, we need to give him the ball to make sure that we're even giving ourselves that opportunity to go on and play in San Fran.
I love it, Schmitty. I'm glad you were able to make it here safely, and you're going to be able to be locked in for the game. I'll see you over there before too long. Any final thoughts before I let you go here for our viewers?
Griffey, shout out to Delta. They upgraded me to first class today. I got 5 cocktails in me already. I'm reared up, ready to go. My head's hotter than the sun, okay? I'm a rocket ship right now, and I'm ready. As everyone at Packers Corner, Packers Nation, all of our listeners, we're ready to take this team on. We own AT&T. It is ours to take, and I'm certain of it. Number 10 is going to lead us to the promised land. Bring on the Niners.
I love it, Schmitty. You might recall a number of years ago the phrase, if you want to win, put 10 in. I hope we get to see that come to fruition today. We'll see you before too long. Take care, Schmitty.
Love you all.
The Rocket Man. Cue the Elton John for our boy Schmitty there. He's, as we talked about and have seen throughout all our episodes that we do together here, Dad, he's kind of yo-yo, a little up and down to say the least. There's no doubt he's on an upswing at the moment, right? To say the least, huh?
I hope that balloon doesn't burst. But, Rocket Man, burning up the stars up here alone. Is there, did that lyric come through? Burning up the stars up here alone. Is that not a Elton John lyric? And it seems to me that the iconic emblem of America's purported team, America's real team, G on the side of their
burning
helmet.
up the stars. I like it.
Do they not have a star on the side of their helmet? And so maybe never has a more prophetic phrase been uttered with regard to the Rocket Man. Let's just see if that could come to fruition.
I love it, Dad. Yeah, I think before too long here, we're going to have to get serious and hunker in and watch the broadcast.
Yeah,
anything we got to touch on before we do that?
Excuse me?
Anything we got to touch on here before we do that?
Oh, I think we've covered it all. I mean, we've talked in a very rose-colored fashion about our favorite Packer team, and I get it. All the pundits are against us. Conventional wisdom says we have no chance. I just think if we get off to the right start and we get this young group feeling confident about themselves, that we got a puncher's chance in this game. So hopefully it goes that way and we do get off to that kind of start, and hopefully our kicker doesn't have to get too heavily involved. But maybe we get the performance of his career out of our kicker. That's kind of what it took in the playoff game a few years ago when Mason Crosby single-handedly lifted us along with Cook on the sideline there, and our boy number 12, and Mason made 2 50-yard kicks in the last minute of the game or whatever it was. But I'm thinking we need to do it with touchdowns today, so hopefully that'll be the case. It's awfully exciting. This is icing on the cake. We're in the playoffs, gaining a lot of important experience, and should be great. You and Schmitty and the gang. Now, only thing I would add, I guess, is I hope Melissa's aware, and I don't want to speak out of turn or be any inappropriate here, but, Schmitty was talking about this, I don't know, Timmy and Johnny and Mom and Dad that went to the
Timmy
Bears
and Susie,
game,
I believe.
Susie, was it? Our listeners might resonate with this, and they were going to be sad. They were going to be tearing up their banners, and they were going to crying in their beer, and it would be a long trip to the hotel because he predicted the Bears to win. This is our yo-yo boy Schmitty. This is all of a week ago. He's on the lithium today to keep that mood going up high, and then he said in controverting that on the podcast after the game that it turned out that Timmy and Susie's mom and dad conceived their third child before they left Lambeau Field. I hope Melissa's been warned in case we win the game today that Schmitty may have amorous visions on the way home. So, Melissa, just be careful out there is all I'm saying. So, here we go, Schmitty.
You never know with that guy. That's for sure. You never know. Got to be prepared for anything. So, no, it's fun. He keeps it pretty lively with us here. I do love the Rocket Man, burning up the stars up here alone. Any chance we really do burn up the stars? We do everything you said. We get the ball. We go down and score. It comes together. We talked about the turnover battle. Dak has one of those turnovers. And before you know it, we got a couple score lead, and we just never look back. Any chance we get a comfortable one today?
Oh, my. I suppose there's a chance. There's also a chance that Jair's ankle doesn't hold up and the kicker, shanks one, and our Joe Barry worrywart defense surfaces again. So it could go either way. I just don't feel it though. I mean, you and I talked. I had a bad feeling before the New York game when we were coming off those victories from Detroit and Kansas City. I think this team has learned something in the second half of the season about how to come out ready. I like the steely-eyed confidence of our quarterback. I just think we're going to be in the game.
It has a good feel. It has a good feel, and I just wanted to put there out into the ether a little bit of positivity that maybe we get an easy one. Maybe we can see that happen. I won't get out over my skis too far. It's going to be fun to watch one way or another. Like you said, this is a team that wasn't necessarily expected by many, maybe other than a couple of us here on this show, to be here. And so the fact that they're ahead of schedule with the building of this new regime, with the young quarterback at the helm, is pretty fun to see. So any final thoughts before I let you go here, Dad?
I think we've pretty much nailed it down for the viewers. Now all we got to do, the proof going to be in the pudding. And if you're looking for us, like Denny Green, you're going to be looking on the high road down to Dallas. Let's bring it home, boys. Nothing but W's, burning up the stars down there alone. Whatever it takes.
We might have to get the Cowboys are who we thought they were next week would be nice on the telecast here.
Well,
let's hope for that.
We can do that. We shall see. Gonna be fun.
All right. Take care, Dad.
All right. We're out.